Hello, everybody. This is Nightmare Roadshow, and I'm your host tonight, SOS, and I am here with our CIA agent, Dirty
Dirty
Birdie.
Birdie. And tonight with us is our psychic and kind of medium tall, Ash.
I like that. Actually, they're cool. Can we keep? And I am here with the very dark and lovely
Messy Jessie. And you guys, I have the privilege and the utmost respect and love. I am here to introduce the very own TikTok star, Apache Story Teller.
Woohoo!
Hello, everybody. Hello. Good evening.
Good evening. So, first, I would like you to kind of introduce yourself and, just tell us a little bit about yourself. I mean, we've been watching your stories for a long time, so this is so amazing.
Oh, I'm Native American. My name is Barry, Apache Story Teller, St. Carlos Apache. Um, uh, yeah, all my stories came from growing up here on the St. Carlos Reservation. Also, working here in law enforcement. A lot of it has to do with law enforcement. I don't know why, but even the dispatchers said I'm the one that get those unusual calls, and whether if it's a possessed person, uh, the monkey man bothering somebody's horses, Bigfoot chasing me and my suspect, the devil in somebody's house, gargoyles, a lady asking me to chase a gargoyle off her roof. Um, even my younger days when I went with my buddy up to Navajo Reservation, I came face to face with a skinwalker, and um, to keep him from getting my buddy, because he was Navajo, I grabbed his medicine pouch and I told him that my medicine is stronger than his.
Wow.
The best.
So you,
Oh my God.
okay, wait a minute. So you had a gargoyle on a roof?
Yeah, a lady called and she wanted an officer to assist her in chasing something off her roof, but didn't say what it was. So when I arrived on scene, her house was in the middle of nowhere, and I knocked on her door, identified myself. She came out, and she was kind of, kind of a little shooken up. And then she asked me if I could climb up to her roof. And I said, "Who's on the roof? Who's bothering you?" And then she said, "It's a gargoyle." I looked at her and said, "Okay." I said, "I've never dealt with that before. How do I, how do I chase it off?" She said, "I don't know, but you got to chase it off."
Wow.
So she told me there was a ladder on the side of her house, and I stood up the ladder. I started making my way up. I was thinking, man, somebody's gonna pop up, wearing a mask or something, and I'm gonna
Oh
go flying
no.
backwards. I made my way to the roof. Slowly, I peeked up over the edge, and sure enough, I seen something fly off that was pretty big. Then there was another time where we're looking for a missing girl, and we're up at the St. Carlos Lake area. It's a very isolated area and a very isolated road where she had gotten a vehicle accident and wandered off. So this was in the middle of the night, and we were up and down the road, and I started making my way towards this a dam that is named after one of the presidents, Coolidge Dam. And when I got to the east side of the dam, something big and gray just flew up right in front of me. I had my flashlight out because I was about ready to look down the side of the dam, and I mean it had a pretty good wingspan, and the ambulance had showed up right behind me, and they turned on their deck lights, and the paramedic got up to the driver's side and said, "Did you see that?" Said that thing was bigger than you, and I'm 6 foot and probably about 270, and he said that thing was bigger than I was, had a wingspan, uh, pretty. He said maybe
Sounds
12
Sounds
to
like the
15 feet.
Mothman.
You know, I was just
I
going
was
to
just
say that.
thinking,
Yeah.
the Mothman to me.
Did
I was going to ask,
did anything
did
like
you catch like
What was
bat
that?
wings or feathers or anything like that?
It
It was
wasn't.
just that quick?
It wasn't. I know it wasn't feathers because I hunt and I know a lot of the bird species around here. I know what the whooping crane is or the sandhill crane,
Oh, yes.
and this was no crane. This was. I want to say it had a shape like a bat, like the know how it curves.
Okay.
Ooh,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
That's
That
bizarre.
was like the Jersey Devil.
yeah, it kind of
Oh,
was. But out here in Arizona, shoot, my I had
Or a really big bat.
yeah, I had one of because a lot of the older males we call our grandpas or our older uncles. So I had a grandpa tell me that they found a old skeletal remains up on one of our sacred mountains that was a gargoyle. It was had like a body, a head, arms and legs, and had wings on it.
That
oh
was
That's
crazy
wow.
to
Wow.
me.
that's terrifying.
Yeah, because I've never heard of gargoyles being anywhere other than Europe. So this is
Yeah.
fascinating.
Yeah,
Huh.
I,
Really
I
interesting stuff.
yeah. I mean, even my great grandma, she used to tell us that uh, the bottom of that mountain is called Mount Turnbull, but we call it Sklaja, means
Mhm.
the sacred place, and it she said at the bottom there's a cave, and Bigfoot has a portal where he goes back and forth from his world to ours.
Yes.
I
Hmm.
truly
Wow.
believe that.
Well, I
Yeah,
have to tell
it's kind
you,
of like, sorry,
I
yeah,
was
it's kind
not
of
a
like the same
Bigfoot
thing with
believer.
Mount St. Helens
Right.
too.
Yeah, yeah, I read about that.
Oh, well,
Right?
and Mount Shasta, right? Mount
Yeah,
Shasta is
Yes.
supposed to
Mhm.
have portals all over it.
Oh
But
yeah, it's Mount.
I was not a Bigfoot believer until I started thinking of it more in the realm of portals and not shape shifting, but you know what I mean. Like
yeah,
it can jump from dimension to dimension. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah,
yeah.
that
I
I can
mean,
believe in. Yeah,
Yep.
shoot,
tell me
even
why.
my great grandma used to say Geronimo used to be a shapeshifter too. Geronimo, that's how he
Yes.
never got caught. That he used to shapeshift into a coyote or eagle to escape from the soldiers.
Really,
Yeah,
Oh,
I've
interesting.
never, I
That's
never heard
cool.
that. That's
yeah.
fascinating.
Ah.
That stuff you'll never read or hear about in stories. Not even in the two movies that were made on him. They don't
Yeah.
talk about that.
So this
Mm-mm.
stuff is just handed down from generation to generation, right? Through
Yeah,
your culture, right? You
yeah.
had a story that I thought was really fascinating, and it was about, I guess, a car that had broken down, and you went out. I'm trying to remember the whole that without telling your story, but basically there was something that did it drag like a carcass across the road or something that was really heavy?
Oh, yeah. It was
What?
a guy had ran into a deer on the highway,
Yeah,
and this was in the outskirts of the town of San Carlos. And I went out there to take the accident form, and two of my buddies that were security, I asked them if they could sit with the vehicle until a tow truck came.
yeah.
And while they were there, they said something was throwing rocks at them, and it was off into the distance, and that kind of got them worried, and they drove off, drove off a ways, waiting for me to come back because I had taken off to because I was a police officer then, so I had to go take care of some situations. And once I came back to deal with the tow truck, when the tow truck arrived, that's when we noticed that that deer was dragged across the highway, and we followed the drag marks, and um, off in the distance we seen, shoot, I want to say maybe three glowing eyes standing up pretty tall looking at us. And we just turned around and drove off.
Yep. Hunting
Yeah,
party.
that's enough to, yeah. You have to change my
Yeah, it
shorts in
sounds
the
like a
back
Bigfoot
for the
hunting
office.
party. They
Oh,
that car hit what they were chasing. They're like, hey, they did the work for us. Now we just got to wait
yeah,
for him to leave.
yeah. I mean,
Wow.
my grandma, she lives in a very remote area that we call Calva, and it's she was the only one living there, and she always used to say that she had a guardian, and it's the big hairy man. Is how she described him. One night, she found a individual passed out underneath her carport, and she woke the guy up and asked him, "What are you doing here?" And then he said that, well, I was at a beer drinking party just down the road. We called the place the Big Trees, but it's a bunch of big evergreen trees. And she said that he got left behind, and he started to walk back to the town of Bylis. And he said, I was just too drunk. I couldn't walk. So I walked off the road into a ditch where the railroad tracks, the bridges. So there's like two beams. And he said, I just crawled in between the two beams to go to sleep, and said something woke me up. I said, was shaking me and started talking to me in Apache. And he said, when it woke me up, he said, here, I need to take you to the old lady's house. So he said, I got up, and he helped me walk up to the road, and we started making our way toward, he said to my grandma that we would start making our way towards your house. And I said, when I was stumbling on the road, I kept on bumping him and said, man, that guy, his arms were hairy. And I looked at him and said, he was tall too. And he kept on looking at me, and he was talking to me in old Apache. And when we got to your gate, he said he reached over and opened the gate and said, here, go lay down over there. And where you, that's how we say, go over there. And that's where he fell asleep. And that's where my grandma found him. And my grandma always says that she's not scared to be out there alone, because whatever that is takes care of her. And I had it throw rocks at me one time, but I went to go check on her at night, and I had to tell it, hey, I'm her grandson. I'm here to check on her. I know you watch her, and I know you take care of her. I'm here to make sure she's okay too. And I heard it walking towards, Mount Turnbull.
Hmm.
Wow.
That's crazy.
You actually saw it though?
I seen a figure. I mean,
A figure.
like
Oh,
like
wow.
like how it
The
is right
outline
now.
of it?
We have a full moon.
Yeah.
One
At
night
least you can see it.
I was heading out to her house to go check on her, and I just stopped at the entrance of Calva, and there's a hill next to me, and I got on my patrol vehicle, sat on the hood, and I smoked cigarettes back then, so I started smoking a cigarette, and I heard something yelling towards the river. Like I told you guys, I hunt, and I've never this whatever was yelling. I can't identify animal that goes with it, and so I was standing there listening to it. Then I heard rocks come down from the hill behind me, and I turned and looked, and I could see a silhouette. Something just stood up straight and tall. Then it just took off running. I
Oh,
jumped in
wow.
my patrol vehicle and took off and tried spotlighting it, and it was gone.
That's crazy.
That fast.
Yeah,
That's
Yep,
That's
they're
one thing
quick.
about our elders that I remember, like with my grandma and my aunties, and how their stories have passed on. It's just amazing their survival techniques as well. It just makes me appreciate them more.
yeah, yeah. I mean, every chance I got, especially my great grandma, every story that she's willing to tell me, I used to sit there and listen. And she only spoke Apache, so uh, that's what I grew up with.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
How cool.
So, and I'm sorry, I don't mean to dominate this conversation. I have so
No,
many
no,
questions. I have so
no.
many questions. But
Hopefully, I have a
so,
good answer.
do you Do other officers have as many experiences, or do you think it's something drawn to you? Like you are more open to it,
I
or
think it's me.
it's you?
Yeah,
Okay. And
because
is your family like this?
no,
No.
Just you.
Okay. Just you.
I
Oh,
mean,
wow.
I've had a conversation with a bear.
With a bear.
Yeah,
I
brown
had a
bear.
conversation. Yeah. I've had conversations with my animals,
Wow.
but I really don't think it was, you know. So what happened?
Uh, I want to say when I was a kid, me and my grandma got done butchering a cow, and she she told me to throw her the legs of the cow in the back of her pickup truck, and we're gonna take it to her brother's house because her brother has some dogs. And so we started driving from her house in Calva to another town, Bylis. And while we're on our way, there was an old dump. We call it a dump, where everybody throws their trash and stuff. But there was an old station wagon on the other side of the dump, the pit. And I told my grandma, I said, "Look, there's a dog over there." And all I saw was brown fur come up from the hood of the station wagon. And she said, "Do you want to give it a leg?" And I said, "Yeah." So she pulls over. I ran out, grabbed the leg from the back of the truck, and I took off running towards the station wagon. And as soon as I turned the front part of the station wagon, there was a brown bear sitting there. And I just looked at it, and it looked at me. And I still remember the look in his eyes. And he told me he was hungry. And I told him, I said, "I got this leg." He said, "Do you want it?" It reached up, and his claws were about the size of my fingers, how they are now. And he grabbed the leg and started gnawing on it. Then he looked up at me and said, "I'm thirsty." And I said, "Hold on," because my grandma used to always carry a gallon of jug of water in her pickup truck. So I ran back to go get that gallon. I didn't say nothing to my grandma. She was walking through that station wagon. And I remember her asking me something, but I just kept on running. I grabbed that gallon of water and started running back to the station wagon. And I found an old, those old hubcaps. There's
Yeah.
a
Mm-hmm.
Chevy hubcap, like old.
Mm-hmm.
Heck
And
yes.
I grabbed that, and right then my
Wow.
grandma like, got to the hood of the car, and she looked down. Then she stopped. She froze, and then I came running down. She stopped me. She said, "Don't move." Said, "We're gonna back up slow and go back to the truck." There, I said, "He's hungry though." She looked at me and said, "What do you mean he's hungry?" He said, "He told me he's hungry and he wants water too. He's thirsty." And she said, "You can talk to him?" I said, "Yeah." And I said, "Go give him some water then." So I put the bowl in front of him and I poured the water inside there, and he started, drinking water. And then I told my grandma, so I'm gonna grab the other legs and give it to him. Say he's still hungry. So I took off and grabbed the other three legs, ran back to the bear, and I put it behind it or between his legs because he was sitting down like a person, his legs spread out,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh.
and and it was big, and he
Wow.
just he just looked at me and told me thank you. Then I told him, okay, he said, you eat now. And I started walking back. And my grandma told me that my grandpa used to have the same gift, that he used to be
Wow.
able to talk with animals. And
Oh, that's cool.
Mm.
so
That
That's
is really neat.
amazing.
How old were you?
I, I had to be about 8 or 9.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Were bears common then in that area?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. That that's just amazing. And
No,
it's
yeah.
like you don't even when someone says there's a gargoyle on their roof, you don't even question that. It's just a gargoyle on the roof.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
I
go
mean,
get
it's
it.
just another day.
I mean, part of me still wants to see what it is. So
Yeah. Yeah.
that's why I guess I walked up the ladder to go see what's up there.
Right,
Oh,
right.
heck yeah.
The
Yeah.
curiosity gets you.
Yeah. Then also the fact that, this is an elderly lady that's out here by herself just reminded me of my grandma. And I just wanted to make sure that she was okay
Sure.
and possibly reason with whatever's bothering her. And after that, nobody never got no calls, or she never was bothered by it again.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Do you think it's possible that you yourself scared it off by being law enforcement and just kind of like, you're not supposed to be here, you need to leave, and it's like, yeah, bye, bye, I won't bother her again.
I don't, I don't think it has to do with anything with law enforcement, um, because my grandma, she gave us a feather, and I always wore it inside my vest. I always tuck it inside my vest, and we use yellow pollen from the cattail, that fine powder. We use that as for our prayers, and I always make sure I keep that some a container with that on me too. Also on my feather, my grandma had tied on a turquoise stone, a blue stone, and she says that's, from what I was told, is that's sacred to us. That's something that's very important to us, especially if it's something that's given to us from one of our elders.
Ah,
Yeah.
Yeah. That's beautiful.
What made you decide to start sharing your stories? Because you've got a lot of them. I
Mhm.
love it.
Well, I work out here in the middle of nowhere, and I got bored one night, and I said, "What? What the heck? Might as well do something at night." I sit out here for 12 hours.
Yeah.
Let me show you guys around. So this is basically where all I sit at.
Oh,
Oh, so okay, understandable.
so yeah, you're out in the yard. You're out in your like a compound yard or something, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the back back that way. That's where our town's at, Bilas, and it's
Okay.
about 5 miles away. So the nearest person to me is probably about 5 miles away.
Oh,
Wow.
jeez.
wow.
Do you ever get spooked by anything? Or does
No, just when the
no?
owls are around.
The owls?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because they're uh, bad messengers for us.
Hmm.
Oh,
I've
okay.
heard that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
A guy I used to work with, he used to do welding and steel construction. He was on a job, and I think they were building a silo, and he had two native workers
Yeah,
under him, and he shows up to the site one day, and they're both outside, and he looks at his watch and looks at them, and he's like, "You're supposed to be on the job an hour ago. Why aren't you working?" And they're like, "There's an owl in there. We're not going in there until that thing leaves." And he's like, "Really?" And they're like, "Yeah." So he's like, "Okay."
it must be Navajo.
I don't know what he did, but
Yeah,
apparently he chased the owl out of there or
yeah.
something like
Hmm.
that. So yeah,
It must,
it's not the only time I've heard. A guy I used to work with, he was driving. He had to go out to the airport to go clean,
yeah,
and he's driving out to the airport, and this huge owl just flew right in front of his car, and he's pulled over quick, stopped, and was kind of catching his breath, and the other guy he was with was like, "What's wrong?" He's like, "The owl.
yeah,
That's bad juju in my culture."
yeah. And
So what
from what
go
was that?
ahead. No,
No, go
go
ahead.
ahead.
Uh,
No.
from what we're told about them, they're a messenger or something bad's gonna happen, or a messenger of death. So, especially when you hear them call your name, there's been a couple of times where I heard them call my name, but I say my prayers, and the way my great grandma, because she was a strong medicine woman. Her grandpa, my great great grandfather was uh, rode with Geronimo,
Wow.
so he was. My great grandma said he was just as strong as Geronimo was.
So, do you believe that these gifts that you have been passed down to you?
I I think I want to. I do believe that. I mean,
Yeah, that's what it seems like.
It's generational, it sounds like.
yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
but
I think that's awesome.
I know I had a
Yeah,
guy
that
come to
is
me and
fascinating.
yeah, I had a medicine guy come to me and told me, he said, you haven't reached your full potential yet. You're still learning. So I, I guess I'm still capable of more things.
Yeah, absolutely. That is so awesome. So, what would be the scariest encounter that you have?
Can you pick one?
Probably. So we're chasing a suspect that just got done beating up his brother and his dad, and he started running down towards the river area. And me and another officer, we gave chase, and it was like a good wind spread. We're behind him. We could see him, but this was the dead of night, and he already knew where to go, which way to turn. So we were still learning. We didn't know the area just as good as he did. And when he got close to the river, he had to run across the road. Just the same time, another officer showed up. So when that officer showed up, he jumped out of his vehicle and started giving chase. So he was a lot closer than we were. Uh, we came up to his vehicle. We went down and started running through the salt cedar, and we stopped because we lost visual. And so we stood there and we started listening to, them running through the trees, and we could hear them. And all of a sudden, it stopped, and we're like, okay, they're somewhere this way. So we started making our way slowly, and we had our flashlights off. So we're just going by sound, going through the trees, and next thing you know, we heard something running toward us, and it was running fast. And we're like, okay. I grabbed, we grabbed our pistols out just in case, because we're trying to call that other officer on our radio, trying, hey, you okay? You okay? Nah, we didn't get nothing. So we thought maybe he got overtaken, and that guy might have taken his gun, and now he's running toward us and has a pistol. So we grabbed our
Oh no.
pistols out, and we were waiting. So when that sound got closer, we turned our lights on. It was that officer. He had a scared look on his face, and he just ran right by us, didn't say one word. I'm like, man, what if that guy has a gun, or uh, did he do something? So then we heard something else running toward us. So we stood there waiting for whatever it was running toward us. And next you know, it was that guy that we were chasing. He came running up to us, and he told us, put me in handcuffs, take me to jail, take me to jail. So we stood there confused. And I said, hurry up before it comes. And I said, what are you talking about? And in the distance in front of us, we heard something big walking toward us. And you could tell it was big because the trees were really, the branches were breaking and stuff were being moved. And I thought it was a bull at first, because we have some bulls that just roam around free. But he said, it's not a bull. It's not a
Mm.
bull. It's big. It's big. And he said, it's taller than you, because it's unusual for someone to be about my height. And
It's unusual for anybody to be above my height, too.
yeah.
Oh yeah, that's very unusual. Very
so,
weird.
so we grabbed him and we started walking, and we started walking. I started walking backwards, and I shined my light, and all remember seeing was something big holding like a, probably a big piece of log about that big, just standing there holding it. about ready to toss it at us. I said, "Oh no, oh crap!" The other guys turned around. They saw it too, and we all took off running. And I just remember seeing like a reddish hair, um, as like the upper body and the head, but I couldn't see the face because the log was right here in front of his face, and we made it back to the other officer's patrol vehicle, and finally he tells us, "Did you guys see it? So you guys see Bigfoot?" And we looked at, how come you didn't tell us nothing?
Yeah, he was
So, at some point, did most of the officers say they don't want to work on the same shift with you because you have all of this nutty stuff
Yeah,
happening?
they're just like, no, I'm not going with that guy.
They send the rookies with him.
Yeah.
You pass one night with him, you got it.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
funny.
Could you
It's funny
imagine
that you say
dispatch getting
that.
a call? They're like, "Hey, we got this bat squatch on my property. Can someone come out?" And you're, "Yeah, I know who I'm gonna send
I
out on
know.
that
I
one.
know.
Yeah."
Do you
Oh,
have
he's not
body
working
cams?
tonight? Call him anyway.
I was gonna say, do you have body camera films like of this stuff? Because you'd be like, you'd
Yeah.
make so much money.
I mean, back then we didn't have body cameras.
Uh,
We,
Oh.
we didn't get them till my last 3 years working at the department, and I didn't get much of those calls after, but I did
that's
get some calls of you know shoot some other stuff, uh, having to go over to somebody's house because someone wasn't acting right.
mm,
Then I get there, a couple of grown men holding down a lady that's probably about 5 foot, maybe 140, 150 pounds, and it's taking three guys to hold her down, and she's lifting them off the ground, and they're big guys. And the way she's talking is, I mean, a bunch of gibberish,
mm.
and the family's crying and praying and telling me to do something, and they said she's possessed, and I said I had no idea what to do with the possessed person. I
And
kind of just
was
remember,
her voice different?
yeah. I mean, it was
Wow.
like a real deep, raspy voice,
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
like just like those stuff you see in the movies. That
Right.
Like The Exorcist.
yeah, and I
Like that
referenced the
movie.
movie. I referenced the movie. I told them, said, grab a Bible, start hitting her, and they looked at me like all pissed off, and said, "What are you talking about?" I said, "That's what you see in the movies. I have no
You're
idea
like,
what
I
to
Wow.
did
do."
this in The Exorcist. I know what I'm doing.
Yeah,
You know, I'm going to step away when pea soups come flying out of her mouth.
but
Yeah.
that's the scary part was when I told them, "Said, is she disturbing your peace though?" And they said, "Yeah." So I put her in handcuffs and I put her in the back of my patrol vehicle. On that was the scariest drive to the jail because
I bet.
I mean
Oh.
I don't know who this person was, but they were bringing up stuff in my past.
Oh.
Oh,
Oh.
How did
Even
her eyes look?
black,
Oh, gosh.
because it was again it was at night, and the patrol vehicle I had back then it just had a cage, so it
Oh,
was
yeah.
like
Right.
a wire screen that was behind me, and
Oh, gosh.
I
Old
couldn't close
school.
the window, and so
Wow.
she was face pressed against that screen and just telling me, you know, I know what happened. I know what this happened to you. Like, and I was sitting there. That's when I grabbed my feather and I put it inside my vest. And then she says, "You think that feather is gonna help you? You think it's gonna save
Oh.
you from me?" Said,
Oh,
"You're gonna,
my.
you're gonna." Said, "You're gonna." That she started saying, "You're gonna die soon, and I'll be waiting for you." And I said, "Oh man."
There's like,
I
please
still
don't.
Yikes.
yeah.
So
Yikes.
how was she, once you got her to the jail, how was she acting in the cell? Did she change in any way, or did she act like this for a long time?
She got quiet when I got her out of the vehicle, and then when I got her in front of the booking officers, the detention officers, she looked at me and said, "Why am I here? What happened?" And
Wow.
Yikes.
I told her,
So
"You're being,
whatever was there fled like that.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
That's nuts.
Interesting. And she
That's
yeah,
still has
nuts.
no memory of it.
no."
Wow.
I told her
Well,
that
that's
she was going to,
spooky because then you wonder who did it jump into?
yeah.
Yeah, where did it
You know?
go?
Yeah.
I've
I
got
think
chills going down my
Oh,
spine
I
right now.
did too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is.
That's nuts. Wow.
I used to.
And yeah.
I had a friend that used to ask me to, do stuff for her. Um, when she would say something bad's bothering her, I used to go over there and, you know, put my hand on her and grab a rock and hold the rock in one hand, and whatever was bothering her, I'd transfer it to that rock. So
Uh-huh.
I think I might have did that for that girl,
Well,
and I, I
I
made it go
love
somewhere
that.
else.
that's interesting. So you can transfer something into an inanimate object.
Yeah,
It does. Yeah.
that's something I don't really share with anybody, but that's that's what I used to do. I haven't done it in a while.
That's powerful.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it is. That's crazy.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Crazy powerful. Wow, that's fascinating. No. Do you have in your culture possession cases? I mean, is that a common thing?
Just just like every other culture, there's a good and
Okay.
bad in everything.
Yeah, yeah.
There's
Mhm.
good medicine man. There's bad medicine man that will
Oh, okay.
pray for bad things to happen, and people can go to those medicine men and offer them gifts to have something bad done to people.
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh,
when
yeah, that's true.
when
Hadn't thought of that.
Mm.
when I was
Yeah.
young, and I moved away from the reservation because I just had to get away. Um, Stuff was bothering my mom and dad for a long time. It was like, bothering them, and my mom said that it was inside their house, and so they made the choice to go see a medicine man, and the medicine man told them to bring pictures of your kids, and so they put pictures down of me and my siblings while they were getting prayed for. Then the medicine man told my mom and my dad, said, somebody is praying bad for something to happen to one of you or to both of you, but one of your sons is keeping it from happening, and it's disrupting his life. And
Oh,
because
wow.
that prayer is so strong, and my mom
Mm.
asked him, said, "Who? Which one?" And he said he pointed to my picture and said, "It's him."
Wow.
And during that time, I was homeless in Phoenix because I just, I don't know, I was still working, but I just had a real hard time back then, and
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
but I was still staying strong, and so yeah. So my mom said that whatever I was doing was helping, and that medicine man said that he has real strong medicine with him, and but he needs to be here in order for it to really go away. And back then,
Wow.
I rarely came back home.
Because you were
Yeah.
doing your own path,
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that was a learning
Mhm.
thing for you.
yeah.
Hmm.
Like I tell people, I was born on the reservation, but I grew up off the reservation.
Yeah. So do you
Yeah.
believe that the land that you are from, do you believe that a lot of the medicine on there is from way back, and all these sightings that happen? Do you think it's a way for your people to protect their area, to protect their land?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have my own special place where I go to re-energize,
Ground
and
basically is.
it's my
Mm-hmm.
my own spot where I go, and it's facing the mountain, the Mount Turnbull, our secret mountain.
Mm-hmm.
So when I go there, I always get met by a strong wind, and it's not just a full breeze that hits everything. I see it coming down from the top of the mountain, and it's just a tube that comes straight, and it comes straight towards me.
Hmm.
That's
That is
cool.
Wow.
awesome. That is
I,
so
I,
cool. Like,
It
yeah,
is. Yeah, you're just the experiences, but I think just the power within you
Mhm.
is it's amazing. I don't think I've ever met anybody like you.
No.
You
well,
know what I
thank you,
mean? A lot of
thank you.
power there.
Yeah,
You have a
Yeah.
lot of power.
I agree.
So, yeah, yeah.
So, yeah, this is awesome. Like, do you believe that you could be a practicing shaman? Have you ever looked into that?
my I've been I've been asked if I want to learn, but I just I don't feel like I don't think I'm what's the word? Not ready, but I don't think I should be put in that position because I mean I've done some, you know, I've done some things that I'm not proud of, so I don't think I should be put in that position to help somebody. I'll help what I can, but I won't take on that full responsibility, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That's,
Well, you're probably doing a lot of good for a lot of people in the position that you were in, too.
Yeah.
You
I
know?
mean, even when I arrested people, or yeah, a lot of people, I would talk with them and I would listen to them. When I would bring them to the jail, that's when they would tell me, you know, I'm glad you arrested me, and it was you that showed up because you, you know, you made me realize what's going on in my life and what's wrong. And
Oh.
like a couple of days, or weeks, or a couple of months later, I run into the same people and they say, "Hey, I'm doing better. I changed this. I don't drink as much, or I stopped drinking. I stopped doing drugs. I'm more about my family now." And
It's
I just
awesome.
say, "Hey, just keep it up."
Yep.
that
Well,
is
That's
it
awesome.
does sound
amazing.
it does sound like you're a
Yeah.
healer of sorts.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Because yeah, most cops would
It's
be
just
just
maybe
like,
an
okay, get in the back
unconventional
of the
path,
car. We're
right?
going to the station, dropping you off. But you're like,
Yeah,
okay,
Yeah.
man, what is going on? What? Why are you in this position? And then you have a conversation, and then when you drop them off, you're like, okay, yeah, I see where I screwed up. Okay, I'm going to work on it.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's
And they
pretty
would tell me,
cool.
"I'm glad it wasn't, you know, officer so and so. I'm glad it wasn't this officer because
Yeah,
they really pushed my buttons." So you really you listen, you pay attention to what I have to say.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome. Wow. I'm in just
Well, a
awe
lot
of
of
you
people
because
don't
you're
do
so
that.
amazing. No,
No,
not at
Not at
all.
all.
Yeah,
Oh, I
but
love it.
this has been absolutely fascinating. I just, I, I think we could
oh,
talk to you and with you for hours and hours, but obviously we can't do that tonight.
I'm
But
Definitely have
I
to
I'm
would,
bring
enjoying
you
this
back
also.
on.
I
I'm enjoying
know,
Yes.
this.
I would just the stories that you relate. I mean, they're so relatable,
Mm-hmm.
right? We're just mesmerized by them. like we said, you have a TikTok channel, and do you have other channels, other social media?
Nothing like what I do on TikTok.
Uh-huh.
Just Facebook is just my family and
Uh-huh.
my friends. That's it.
Right.
And um, I did open up a YouTube, but I haven't really done anything with it. I
Okay.
know I have people that tell me I should start, especially with
Well,
going
yeah.
out to places where my stories take place.
Yeah.
Yes.
Excuse me.
Yes. But you're known as the Apache Story Teller on TikTok. Is that how people can find you? Is
Yeah.
that right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That I was thinking about
That's awesome.
uh, you know uh, that's how they can find me. But I was gonna put down there as my name as the Apache Shadow Warrior.
Okay.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
I like that.
And
Yeah.
yeah, I always talk. A lot of my stories, I always include my cousin Daniel.
Yeah,
He's
lots of Daniel stories.
he's always there with me. He always tells me, when something happens, when we see something, he always looks at me and says, "It's you. It's always with you."
That's awesome.
There's always got to be a witness. There's always got to be a witness to a weird happening.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, that's so great.
Yeah,
Oh my
no,
gosh.
but
Thank you so much for coming on, and I can't.
no, thank you,
Honestly, we want you back on. I mean, this has
Yeah.
been, yeah.
thanks for the invite.
Yeah,
It would be so awesome.
I would
Yeah.
definitely like to be back on. I mean, hopefully soon I'll be taking my stories out to places where I found stuff.
Uh-huh.
I think I might have found a burial site for the little people.
Oh, that'd be
Really?
Interesting stories.
Yeah, super interesting.
Wow.
Because I mean, I was at my grandma's house in Calva, and she's seen we caught some little people, about maybe 2 feet high, stealing some chickens or chicken eggs from her. And I was out wandering around the hills, and I found like little rocks, probably I want to say probably about that size, stacked up about that high off the ground, and about so long. And it wasn't just one; it was probably about 20 of them.
Wow.
Holy.
Yeah, that's wild. Yeah, I want to see that video.
Yeah. Yeah, we
That would be
definitely will be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Oh
I won't
my gosh.
disclose the area.
Of this
I'll just show
episode,
everybody.
and
Yeah,
Yeah. Who
Yeah,
needs to know that? They don't need to know
definitely.
that.
Yes.
That's
yeah.
fine.
Yeah, they don't need to know exactly where it's at. Yeah. But thanks again for coming on the show, for Messy Jessie for setting
Thank
this
you.
up. This was
Well, thank you,
awesome.
everybody. Everybody,
It-
thank you.
We
Yeah.
enjoyed
Oh, this
you
was
so much.
amazing.
It was an amazing episode, and we hope that all of our viewers watch and love it. Share the episode. Be sure to check us out on Patreon, Nightmare Roadshow, and the merch site at Teespring. And again, always look both ways before you cross Nightmare Road.
All right, everybody.